Well, as I always say, Mondays are the most boring days starting the week. But as always, I always intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. So, as I say, we are continuing with more of the Japanese wrestling scene. The first one, as you know, we have Sendai Girls with Big Show and Sendai that took place recently this past Sunday. This one features, of course, two title matches, the tag titles and, of course, the world title as well. So, will we see title exchanges? Well, we will see about that as well. And then, of course, we move on with MARIGOLD, with, of course, continuing with the wonderful uh, Winter Wonderful fight with Day 4. Originally happened this past Saturday, but was not broadcast until this time. And of course, we feature many matches, including certain prelims we will see down the road. And then, of course, we have ChocoPro number 412 that took place also on Saturday, but was not broadcast on our YouTube channel until today. And of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates, but we're only going to follow on developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos. We talk various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nagisa Yaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in description down below. Now, all introductions have been set aside. I believe it's time to get this show on the road. So, let's start with our very first review, and this is from Sendai Girls. Okay, Sendai Girls, big show in Sendai. Now, this particular event took place this past Sunday on November 8th. And of course, we have various title matches taking place. We have the three of them that they have this junior title, the tag team titles, and of course, the world title. But let's begin from the very beginning all the way to the very end. Our first match, we have the Sendai Girls junior title. Yuna, who is the homegrown girl in Sendai's, take on Evolution's Chi-Chi, who is our current champion. Now remember, Chi-Chi was the one who won this recent tournament, the Uma Jaja tournament, and she was the one who made a play for this title that was vacant since 2022. So she was able to face Yuna in this match in order to obtain the title, which she did. And now Yuna is trying to reclaim this belt back to where it rightfully belongs in Sendai Girls. But of course, We know Chi Chi has been a very prosperous wrestler, not to mention, she wants to prove people wrong. And she did that by applying the Uranagi on her, which is the same one that Suri uses where she's being criticized. But Chi Chi retained as the champion, and we'll see who will be the next person to challenge her. Now, our next match, we have also from Evolution Zone taking on Manami. So, nothing too significant about this match. But of course, Manami is much like what we saw with Yuna. She's a homegrown girl, uh, has much experience than Zones. But it was, of course, the diving body press by Manami that allowed her to pick up the win against Zones. Now, we did see, of course, what's her name? Sakura Iroda doing a promo. Now, as you all know, she's currently out of action due to an injury. We don't know exactly when she'll be back, but she makes appearances every single time. Now, our next match, we have a battle royale. We have many wrestlers like Ryu Mizunami, Kuroshio Tokyo Japan, formerly known as Ikemen Jiro, Yuta Suzuki, Unagi Sayaka, Miyuki Takase, Hiroyo Matsumoto, Michiko, and of course, Aja Kong. Now, of course, many of you would think, okay, you have certain wrestlers that could be impossible to eliminate, such as Aja Kong. I mean, come on. She's a big individual, but also a veteran. She probably knows what's going to happen. But in the end, it was, of course, Miyuki Takase who picked up the win. Now, I completely got lost in the order of people who were eliminated, but of course, everybody ganged up on Kuroshio Tokyo Japan because he was the only male involved in this match. But yeah. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting tag team match. We have Suri, formerly known as Saray, teams up with former world champion Mika Iwata, taking on 200 kilogram, you and Big Hash herself. Now, of course, Suri, you all know she faced Big Hash herself. She did lose a match against her and lost a match against her. This is one of those moments where it has nothing to do with it. But the real question is, how can you stop two big individuals like you and Big Hash? That's a good question. But unfortunately, she ended up being power slammed by Big Hash. Mika ended up being power slammed by Big Hash, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have our second title match. We have Sendai Girls tag team titles. We have the current AAW tag team champions, Baba Momo Banana, consisting of Yurika Oka and Miyu Momono, taking on the current champions, Lina, Cross, and Veni. Now, remember, they already are tag champions, so if they win this particular match, they can become double tag champions. And I'm sure that's a goal that they probably hope for. I mean, we know they were former tag champions in this promotion as well. But in the end, it was Yurika Oka who picked up the win when she pinned Lina Cross, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, this is a very interesting one, which is our Sendai Girls World title match. We have Meiko Satomura, the final boss, taking on Dash Shizako. Now, this was a match that, of course, I think many of you probably would say this could be her last runs until her retirement in April. I mean, Dash took everything, like brought every ounce of energy, every ounce of her fighting spirit to take out Meiko Satomura, but it was not enough because Satomura applied the Scorpion Rising, and just like that, it was over. Now, we did see a little promo coming from her, but Big Hash comes out. So it's no secret that possibly she would like to challenge her for the belt. And that would be interesting. But of course, the homegrown girls of Sendai Girls showed up to celebrate. So it's a pretty interesting moment. So it was a lot of fun. So I think that's pretty much it with Sendai Girls. Let's move on with MARIGOLD. Okay, MARIGOLD. We continue with more of the Winter Wonderful fight. This happened on the 7th, this past Friday, on November 7th, but it was not uploaded on their Universal Wrestle Universe until today. So we are in day 4. Now, nothing too big happened in this event, but we do have a bit of prelim matches that could lead up to some of the bigger ones we will see down the road. Now, let's begin with our first match. Our first match, we have Nao Yawada teaming up with Rhea Seto. They take on Flying Penguin and, of course, Hummingbird. Now, this is the first time we see two masked wrestlers team up. Flying Penguin, she is not originally part of the MARIGOLD brand, but however, she is a freelance wrestler. Many of you may have seen her or heard of her, but yeah, it was very interesting to see that, of course, two masked wrestlers teaming up. But in the end, it was Hummingbird with a frog splash onto, of course, Yamada, and ended just like that. Now, our next match is a three-way tag match. We have um, Komomo Minami versus Kizuna Tanaka versus Misa Matsui. Now, nothing too significant of this match whatsoever, but of course, you would think that, of course, you have Kizuna Tanaka, who is a young rookie who's willing to make her impact, and of course, you have Kimono, who's getting by. But you look at Misa Matsui, who has a bit of the better experience, but it was Misa Matsui that picked up the win by pinning Komomo, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have Bozilla versus Victoria Yuzuki. Now, of course, many of you would think of it the female version of David versus Goliath. Bozilla is a very difficult wrestler to put down. I mean, the only person that understood that type of method was none other than our current Mighty Gold World Champion Serene. And that always says it. But the real question is, can Victoria Yuzuki do that? The honest question was no, because it was Bozilla who applied a sit-down power bomb that put her away and allowed this match to go on that way. Now, our next match, we have Chiaki taking on teaming with Nagisa Nozaki, taking on Nao Ishikawa and Utami Ayashida. Now, of course, many of you may know already, Chiaki and Nozaki have already been aiming for the tag belt, so this is more of a momentum match for them. Of course, they'll be facing against someone who should be the ace of Mighty Gold, but she teams up with the wrestler who has been on losing streaks in the past, Nao Ishikawa. But in the end, it was, of course, Nozaki with the Lance Nor onto Ishikawa, and just like that, it was over. Now, I don't know what they said in the post-match promo, but I'm sure that they're making the entire fan base pay attention and see what they're going to do next. Now, our main event, we have a 6-woman tag match. We have Myla Grace. She teams up with our current tag champions, Mai Sakurai and Mirai, taking on our current GHC Women's Champion, Kyoki Omori, our Superfly Champion, Natsumi Shozaki, and our current White Belt Champion, the United National Champion, Miku Ano. Now, of course, many things could happen in this type of match. Now, don't forget, in this particular match, Mai Sakurai has issued a challenge for the white belt against Miku Anu. As you know, she could walk away as a double champion if that's the case, but she has to get through the defenses. But the one thing that really was amazing is the fact that it was Mala who walked away with the win when she applied a corkscrew splash onto um, Shozuki. So that means that now that she pinned her, she could officially, in fact, challenge Shozuki for the Superfly belt. That is something we could wait and see. But however, of course, Masakura is not done. She has her aim for the white belt, so we will see what happens down the road. So I think we are done with this particular review. Let's move on with, of course, ChocoPro. Okay, ChocoPro number 412. Now, much like Mighty Gold, this one took place this past Saturday on the 7th of November, but was not uploaded on their YouTube channel as well on November 9th, this past today. So a lot of things could happen. Now, of course, the opening of the show, we had Chiko Shikawa greeting the fans, giving a lowdown, yada yada yada. So let's get started with our first match. Our first match, we have a six-person tag team match. We have um, Hiroyi Yawada, Irakane, and Nonaka Seto. They face against Kaho, Irohi, and of course the Best Bros, Balin Aki and Mei Shruga. Now, of course, many of you would think in some capacity, okay, you got the team opposing the Kaho and Best Bros have lesser experience. Of course, Kaho's in that same category, but however, she knows that she is teaming with one of the most decorated tag teams in ChocoPro, so she has nothing to worry about. I'm sure her childish ways will be the stuff of things, but of course, like any other type of match, it was Mei Suruga who picked up the win on Eri, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Miya Yatsuba teaming up with Tokiko, taking on Sayaka and Masahiro Takanashi. Now, when it comes to Masahiro Takanashi, many of you know he's a bit of a slick and clever wrestler, which he's been known for many years. You would think that's going to be a problem. Nope, it was not, because, of course, Masa was able to pick up the win on Tokiko. So we will see where that leads. Now, our next match, we have Antonio Honda and Minoru Fujita taking on our current Asian Dream Tag Team Champions in a non-title match. Now, of course, when it comes to these type of matches, if by some miracle Honda or Fujita were able to pick up a win against the tag champions in a non-title match, they could eventually try to pick up a win. Now, I do know that, of course, Antonio Honda, along with Tokiko, challenged for these belts. So, if by any means necessary, if he and Tokiko were unable to succeed in obtaining those tag belts, he can get another opportunity with Fujita. But, however, that was pretty much what happened. Fujita was able to pick up the win on Chi, and just like that, it was over. Now, our final thing we have is the Jonkin tournament. So there was a lot of things that happened. Now, Mei Shruga did not make it all the way through, but the last two in this entire tournament was none other than Balinaki and Kaho. But unfortunately, Balinaki was the one who picked up the win, and Kaho just dropped crying in the floor. Cannot believe she lost. But pretty much that's what happened on the Jonkin tournament. So I think that's pretty much it with every review. So I believe it's time for some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So we're only going to focus on our developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling. Now, this next topic of the story, many of you may have heard it already. By the time this video is out, you probably knew it already. You may have heard what's been going on with Rey Fenix, but a little back here, as you all know, his brother, Penta, is officially out of AEW, but apparently there's been some talks about Rey Fenix over his struggles remaining with AEW. And he put out this little thing on X where he says, I needed a doctor and you ignored me for months. So it feels like there's going to be tensions coming between Rey Fenix and Tony Khan himself. Now, I know many people are trying to see how things is going to turn out. Some people are going to have different opinions. But I'm not here to do that. That's for you guys to think on your own time. Me, I'm just being the messenger, saying what's going on. So whatever is happening, I get it. Now for the next development. Maria Kanellis, many of you may remember her as Maria, just announced on her social media that she is cancer-free. So yay! So we're very happy for her, and she made a statement. Let me pull that up for all of you so I can read it, see what she had to say. Here it is. Hello, I wanted to give you guys an update. I know it's been a little bit. It took a while for the pathology to get back, but I want to let you know, guys, that I am cancer-free. The tumor was not cancerous. We are also unbelievably grateful and thankful to be moving into this holiday season cancer-free. I did not have to worry. Thank you so much, all of the well wishes and prayers. So we're happy. I mean, I'm glad that she's okay. I'm glad that she's cancer free because I know many people always say cancer sucks. I mean, yeah, I get that. So that's job. Now, of course, a little not a this is development, but more like a little common fact that's been going out. Many of you may see Natsupoi on her social media that she always has her headphones on. Well, she just admitted that she cannot live without her headphones. Gosh, that was me when I was in high school. What a coincidence. But it makes sense. You know, I don't blame her. Now, I know people have their reservations towards Dave Meltzer about the things he says. Well, he had some things to say about Nathan Frazier. Now, many of you know that he always has his own opinions about what he thinks, and he actually talked about this. He talked about um, Nathan Frazier's could be far more better in AEW than WWE. I know some of you guys are going to say that Meltzer's BSing. He's a dork, a scuzzball. I can get that. But this is what he said. So bear with me, folks. The thing with him, there's a lot of guys that are really good. It's like Will Ospreay when he was young. There's a lot of guys that work that style, but he's better. With Nathan Frazier, he is the speed, and he's one of the fastest guys I've seen in North America. You watch the Wesley Javon, who are great acrobatic wrestlers, and Nathan Frazier comes in, and you just like, oh God, he's like different. He's gonna be hard because the main roster is different animal. When I watch him, I thought he's the guy who would probably be better off financially if he gone to AEW because AEW is the kind of reward more. I don't know if he's gonna do great in the main roster, but in AEW, that speed would get him good contract if nothing else. I don't know if he'll be the top guy in WWE, but I think he could get a good contract. I think he'll get a good contract on the main roster, but I don't think he's going to have the same upper mobility like Darby Allin. Darby got to be in AEW. If he was in WWE, he'd be nothing. So basically, he's telling that he doesn't believe that Nathan Frazier was made the right, that he would never be at the top in WWE, that he would have been better off with AEW. I mean, I'm not saying that Nathan Frazier is, of course, that guy. I mean, he is talented. We're not going to lie about that. But we'll see how things will progress with him in his career. Now, many of you may know that there was supposed to be an IWGP Tag Team title match at Wrestle Dynasty, but unfortunately, that match is now officially canceled due to the fact that, of course, that Henare injured himself and that led it. But however, Greater Khan decided I'm going to continue wrestling against the Bucks, but I'll get another tag partner. So we will see what happens until then. Now, coming off of Tetsuya Naito's win, the Tag League, apparently it was New Japan revealed that he will be missing out on the road of Tokyo to Tokyo Dome due to he will be receiving a left eye surgery because of it. Now, we do know he has spoken about how his eyes have been really messing him up, and we don't know how long he'll last, but we'll see. Now, once again, Dave Meltzer talked about Toni Storm. Of course, this is what he had to say about her. Let me pull it up for you. I feel there's no momentum for her, Thunder Rosa. They just stalling for time until Toni Storm comes back. And the reality is Toni Storm should be back. This has gone long enough. That's the problem. They're trying to drag it out longer. It should be World's End, Toni Storm versus Mariah May. When it comes to things like this, it would drag out for too long. You miss your peak, and if it does miss your peak, it's gone. So he thinks that this whole thing with Toni Storm has gone long enough that we need to see her back. So I don't know. We will see how that will come out. Now, for all you Dragon Gate fans, it was announced on the Dragon Gate X account that Big Boss Shimizu is officially suspended indefinitely due to suspicion of serious contract violations. Now, they did not specify what, but I'm sure they're going to look into it thoroughly and hopefully we get some answers. So just bear with me on that. New Japan star, no, I mean All Japan star Suwama, during a press conference, has announced that he is stepping down as the executive vice president of All Japan. Now he is the president and representative of director of Evol- of Evolution, starting on January 1st of 2025. Those who know this, he has served as executive producer. Evolution was something that he started along with Shuji Ishikawa. He also will be also remain affiliated with All Japan Pro Wrestling as not a non-wrestler but as director of the company. So basically, he will be remaining doing that. And finally, for anybody who wants to be a wrestler, anybody in the Bay Area, most specifically, West Coast Pro has announced that there'll be their training academy. New participants can sign up on January 7th of 2025. All they need to do is email West Coast Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. So basically, you can just call them. So hopefully, I can leave it right here. Let me repeat that again. West Coast Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. So if you guys are interested in becoming a wrestler in the Bay Area, well, this is your chance. So I think that's pretty much it. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we do have NXT. We're now entering in the fallout of the deadline. We'll see how things will go. And of course, we probably will be hearing from Julia and Obafemi as our winners of the Iron Survivor Challenge. So we'll see how that will progress. So if there's any other wrestling shows I probably will be reviewing, we'll just have to wait and see about that. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move forward. And until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.